I'm very happy to sit here together with an amazing guitarist and associate of Sting and many other great superstars, Dominic Miller.
Hello, how are you doing? I'm Dominic, I'm happy to be here again.
So thank you for doing this interview.
Yeah,
it's great for the opportunity talking to you. It's really looking forward to meeting you and talk to you after listening to the music. Unbelievable music.
Oh, thank you.
Really great.
Coming from a musician, that's a compliment.
Well, I mean, I'm sure everybody sees it that way. Like there are a lot of. So, what I got from the music was kind of like, you know, it has this long arcs and long ideas, and it kind of develops, and it's really like the energy is treated very, very interesting and very carefully. You know, so what did you? Was that kind of the idea for the music, or what kind of is behind this music, behind this thought process of playing this music?
It's difficult to describe music, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't really understand where it comes from. It's just, I like making things simple, you know, as simple as possible. When I make a record, I don't want to show how I play so much. I just want to, it's more, for me, it's about sound, it's about creating an atmosphere. And, you know, I suppose I'm quite lucky in a way, because when I zone in on composing, it's like turning on the Wi-Fi. I get good Wi-Fi reception, and then I just go with it, and then just create these just kind of structures. And I rely a lot on really good musicianship too. And I explain to the guys what I want, and if you use the word arcs, I'm happy with that. I see it like that too. I like something to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So, you know, and I have my influences, you know, which are mostly conceptual 70s and 80s, all kinds of influences. But with this album, I think I wanted to do more of a concept album. I was, you know, like sort of Pink Floyd or something, but in an instrumental jazz sort of way. So I don't really know how to just... I'm just very lucky that I chose the right guys, I think.
It's really amazing how like this vast influences you have throughout your life. Like we talked about classical music, pop, rock, jazz, and everything comes together in this particular style you're like playing on this record. I think many young musicians have that problem. You know, you have all these influences, and then to choose from that. And with you, it's kind of feels natural to just do what you do.
I think it's important not to try to create an identity. Like the identity will actually come to you. You know what I mean? A lot, because I get a lot of musicians saying to me, like particularly with sound of how I play guitar, is the big question that a lot of musicians have is, how do you get your own sound? How do you get your own identity? And my answer to that is, and the same with composition, is don't try and have an identity. Just acknowledge your influences. These are your influences. Let them come through. And then the identity will sort of come to you. That's what I think. It's like, and then people will come up to you and say, I like your sound, or I like your style of writing. And you might not understand what they're talking about, but really I do understand. It's because I've used my influences, and I kind of quote them musically, you know, and I'm not afraid to do that. And just to say, look, this is my record collection that you're hearing, you know?
Right.
And I'm not claiming it to be original. It's just, but what is original is my record collection. And what I've listened to, I take pride in. But that's what comes through in the music. There's nothing original. But it's like my collection of influences that is original. And, you know, that's it.
Like, how is there anything you do besides playing music and obviously practicing?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do a lot of other things. You know, I've got a family, and I've got kids, you know, I've got a life. And I was going to say, if we hadn't had the experience we had about 10 minutes ago playing chess, I was going to say I play chess a lot, but I'm not going to say that now, because you just kicked my ass really badly.
No, but we were playing
really
Blitz.
Quickly. And so, yeah, I like playing chess. You know, I play online. I go on, and so I just do escape from music. And I do other things. I like reading books. Those are my influences. It's just other experiences, because I don't want to listen to music to find inspiration. That's my job. You know, it's weird that I'm not obsessed with music.
can totally feel you in that, yeah.
You know, I'm not obsessed with it. I don't practice all day. I've got a life. But what I do is I put all my attention, when I do work, I put a lot of, it's very concentrated, you know, it's concentrate, like, you know, like oil or something. I like to really zone in on what I'm doing it, when I'm doing it. And my thing really, as a guitarist, is sound. Sound is king for me. I'm not trying to practice licks or like improvisational concepts. That's not really my forte, because I don't have time for it, and I'm not that good at it. My thing is composition and sound. So when I do zone in, that's what I'm going to do. And the rest of the time, I'm going to have a life, you know, with kids and wives.
And wives.
Chess, and, you know, family and friends and books.
Yeah,
football.
Football, you
Yeah.
mean? Okay, nice. Giants fan?
No, I mean, no, I'm talking soccer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking football.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, I totally feel you on like being too much trying to do something, because I think that would be audible in the music immediately.
Yeah. I wish I could do that. You know, I've got friends of mine, you know, like, who are so elite and so high up in their musicianship, like Vinnie Colaiuta or like Kenny Kirkland, we were talking about earlier, or Jason Ribello, all these people who I know who've taken their musicianship to such a height, but that's come through total dedication and practice. And I haven't done it that way. I've had to do it another way, because I don't have that patience and those skills. So my way is not that way. My way is more towards composition and sound.
Is that kind of a thing which made you start playing the guitar, or because you like the sound of it, or?
Yeah, I love the sound of it. I love the. Well, I mean, I heard Jimi Hendrix, you know, and a lot of people, when they hear Hendrix, it does something to them, and for me, it's changed my life, and quite profoundly. And yeah, I mean, it's just, I love the sound that he got. I mean, he set the bar. I mean, that's where I've set the bar, and I'm never going to reach it. But isn't that great? No one has, and I don't think anyone probably will in my lifetime. There's a few people who've come close. So yeah, that's, when I was a kid growing up, I listened to music like you did, and you sort of dreamt of being a musician maybe, but we all went about it in a slightly different way. My way was more to listen to songwriting and concept. I like concept. Concept for me is king, you know, and sound and concept and just like.
What kind of concepts? Like musical concepts?
Just
or
clear
like,
concept. Yeah, musical concepts, obviously.
Can you give an example? Like,
Well, I mean, let's say, going back to Pink Floyd, I mean, Dark Side of the Moon is a concept album. It's very clear. It's a journey. It's like a piece of theatre in sound.
Definitely.
And you know, I think
is there like
Keith Jarrett, you know, I mean, he's a conceptual musician. It's very concept what he does. You know, it's incredibly conceptual, and many others. You know, like Mahavishnu Orchestra, Weather Report, all that stuff is just conceptual.
Like very specific.
Yeah, and you can really get pulled into it. But then there's other ways of doing music where I'm just very impressed with the playing. The playing is amazing and the composition's great, but there's no concept, so I get a bit lost. It doesn't really seduce me. So I want to do that. I want to create concept musically, which is really hard to do.
Oh, no.
But I've got a very good phone book, so I rely on people around me to help me with my vision, and they get what I'm trying to do. That's why I hire, you know, people like Lars Danielsson, Ronnie Krieger, Sebastian Studnitsky. You know, it's a really good crew. People who really know concept.
Yeah, that was kind of the concept for this last album, to like just go into the studio and combine all these energies. You think?
Yeah, it's sort of like that. I feel like with this last album, what I had was, if you look at it in theatrical terms, I had like a few scripts. You know, like scenes. And I chose actors to create those scenes.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who totally understood how to improvise this concept, this scene. This is the look of it, the feel of it, the temperature of it, it's dark, the light, everything, and they totally get that. It's not like here's the chord chart and just improvise the way you do. I don't want that. It's not really that. It is like getting actors to play a role. And can you be that role, whatever it is? Can you understand that? And that's what it's like working with Sting. I've learned that from Sting. Because when I play with him, I understand that that's what he's trying to do, is create scenes. It's like, and I'm an actor, you know?
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? And I'm being, if it's a rock song, I'm being a rock guy. And I'm feeling that role. Or if it's country, or if it's bossa nova, or if it's Spanish. But none of it's totally convincing, because we're acting. It's not real. But Sting and I like to surround ourselves with geniuses, with people who really are real, like Vinnie Colaiuta, Kenny Kirkland, and you know, these Branford Marsalis, and people who are incredibly authentic and very individual, have high level skills.
That's something everybody
They
says.
make us look good.
Actually, it's so close to what people say about Miles Davis, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's the ultimate. I should have mentioned him earlier. He's the king of concept.
Yeah,
You know?
like surrounding himself with musicians.
Yeah, he had some fairy dust he chose people, and he brought the best out of them. Kind of like Herbie Hancock does now. People who, like your boy Lionel.
Yeah.
You know, Lionel I would have thought, has become a much better musician as a result of working with Herbie.
Oh, I'm
because
sure.
he unlocked something in Lionel. I'm sure Herbie decoded him in some kind of way and allowed him to open up.
So you think like Sting decoded you in a way?
No,
like
but I think what we have is different. It's like what he's helped me do is understand. I totally get what he's doing.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And I understand what my role is there and how to. But it's not the same as Miles or Herbie, or it's not the same kind of thing. It's more about creating, because he's a songwriter. He creates different type of scenes.
Yeah.
But he likes jazz musicians, as you know. So he likes to surround himself with musicians who can articulate his ideas. But I have a different role with them. It's much more that I'm more on his side, where I sort of understand the bigger picture. And so that's what I brought to my album, is those skills of how to direct musicians and how to articulate, to tell them what I'm trying to do. Even without words, just sort of play it and they get it.
I like this picture between those musicians who are kind of workers, and construction workers, and those who are architects.
Yeah.
And they're kind of both in a web band. It's important to have this.
There's a great distinction there, but it's great to have both, But yeah, I mean, architecture and music have a lot in common, I think. Because to be a great architect, you need to know about engineering. You can't just design a building that goes like that and without understanding what engineering is. How is it going to stay up? So, like great composition, like let's say the ultimate Bach or whoever, it's totally indestructible. That shit doesn't fall over.
Right, and if you change one note, one note, the whole thing.
Exactly. So, even if you hear an 8-year-old girl playing Bach badly, it's going to be good. If she plays the notes in the right order, you can't fuck it up because it's so well constructed compositionally. If that same girl were to play Chopin or something else, it might not sound so good.
Right.
Because that's reliant on performance. Whereas Bach is not reliant on performance. It's reliant on just getting the notes in the right order. And then it's cool. Don't worry about it. It's there,
Right. Amazing. But you're like, what I got from you, like you're here now in Cologne today, and you came here from London, and you're going to
back to London, and then I'm going to I'm always moving.
You're always
keep
moving.
still.
Like, how do you keep, like as a musician, I'm asking, how do you keep like a regular family life?
With a lot of difficulty.
I know what you mean.
I've got 6 kids, spread over 2 wives, and it's very selfish being a musician.
Oh yeah.
Because the trouble with being a musician is whoever you're with, your partner is never really going to be number one.
Right.
Because number one is this. And I'm ashamed of it in a way. I am ashamed of it. Because I think I could have been a better husband and father, but I do my best. And because because this is unconditional to me. And so I travel all the time, and you can't stop me.
But I'm sure your kids look up to you, right?
They do. They love hanging out with me, and they come on tour with me, and I think they understand it. I think it's important that they know that when I'm away, I'm actually doing what I love to do. I don't want them to think that I'm away hating it, because how would that help them? It wouldn't.
So
At least they know that I'm doing something worthwhile.
Right.
You know.
And you're doing something you really believe in, and something authentic. So I think you are a good example for, you know. But I know what you mean. It's like hard for and wife and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, given. Yeah. So you try to go back regularly in between tours, and
Yeah, I do. I mean, or they come and see me on tour. I spend about 10 or 11 months a year traveling. So here we are sitting in a hotel room right now, right?
Right.
And this is like home to me. I know where everything is, you know? It's like sometimes people ask me, do you ever wake up in a hotel room and wonder where you are? And my answer is, no, I know exactly where I am. And I know what country I'm in, I know what city, and I know what hotel, and I know what room number. But if you ask me, do I ever wonder where I am when I'm at home? Well, the answer is, yeah, I don't know where the fuck I am when I'm at home. You know what I mean? Sometimes I wake up at home and think, where
Geneva?
am I? This is home. Oh my God.
Right. Yeah,
It's weird.
Yeah.
So
exact feeling.
there's no room service. You know,
television.
you can't. There's no concierge. And I've got to make the bed. You know,
Clean up. You have to get the trash outside. to try
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. With you on a much higher level, of course, but you know, playing in a grand concert hall and then coming home.
Yeah, it's pretty strange contrast, but I'm used to contrast now. That's like I'm just used to it, and I'm just a traveling musician. I like the nomadic nature of being a musician. There's sort of something romantic about it. It's what I always dreamt of. Is just sort of traveling like a pirate. You know, just going to your town and impressing you and kind of making friends, making enemies, making an impression.
Being your own authority.
Yeah, and I love the romance of it. It's just sort of it's a bohemian kind of lifestyle that I've always been attracted to. This is what I've signed up for. But sometimes it's hard. It's hard, you know. But I do feel safe, being a musician. I go to some weird countries and, sometimes on my own when I'm out of the Sting bubble. But I don't feel intimidated, you know what I mean? I've been to some pretty strange situations. But there's a kind of a diplomatic immunity to being a musician where you just feel safe because you don't have an agenda. Your agenda is only notes. And it's vibrations, and you can't see it. There's nothing to look at. That's my currency. I'm not a banker. My currency is music. So you can't fuck with me. And I feel safe.
And you rely on yourself, obviously. You know you can rely on yourself.
I have to rely on myself, and so I have to keep myself kind of together. I have a discipline to stay together. I have to keep that. Or else, if I lose that, then everything's gone. And then I can't write, I can't play, and I can't communicate with people. Because I have to communicate. Even though I want to be on my own. I mean, the great thing about touring in a group of musicians is it's a beautiful combination of solitude and camaraderie. I love being alone, and I love being in a group.
Right.
But when I close that hotel room door, I am alone, and I can be alone, and I can go for a walk. I can be alone, and I need that.
That's the basic feeling you associate with the hotel room?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like a sanctuary. It's like a chapel or something. It's alone time. Whereas when you're in a family or you're in you can never have that. There's always sort of a bit of both. But I love the camaraderie of working with other people who have the same goal, and it's just it's a very privileged thing to do, to travel with musicians.
So you kind of refill your battery by being alone, and then refill it for being among many other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling I get from hotel rooms. Like hmm You kind of refill your battery, and so you can go back and you meet so many people. You know, you especially musicians and audiences.
Yeah. And I like going for walks. I like meeting strangers and just talking and, you know, like whatever. It's cool.
Yeah.
Or just finding out where I am a little bit. No, I'm not as a tourist. I'm not going to museums and stuff, but just going to cafes and bars and just getting a sense of where I am.
Wow.
And listening to the language and just feeling the vibe. And then I can do the gig and understand a little bit more about who I'm playing to. Or who I'm... Like, doing a gig is a bit like going on a blind date. Like on a dinner date. But it's nice to know a little bit about that person before you meet up with them. So that's what going for a walk is to me. It's just getting a feel for where I am.
Right.
And then understanding who this date is. Because going on a date, you feel a bit nervous. You know, it's like you might say the wrong thing, or you might might be clumsy, drop your spoon, or break a glass. I like that. I love that tension.
That's so important as a musician to keep up with this, like being curious about things, being about the outside.
To be curious. So when I do a gig, I don't want to feel confident. I want to feel nervous, and I am nervous a little bit. I'm scared. It's like, oh God, you know, are we going to get on with each other? So how do I get there? So you can't talk too much. Don't do too much talking. You almost got to listen more than you talk. I mean, listen. I'm talking too much now, obviously, but we're doing an interview, right?
Nice.
But you know what I mean? It's like you have
not
to
talking
feel,
too much about music. Like
you have to feel the audience. You have to feel them, and it is like a date, and it's awkward sometimes. And sometimes it doesn't work.
Oh yeah, you had those experiences.
Yeah, sure. I do gigs where I think, oh God, that was so awful, and you know, and then I read the review the next day and they say it was great, which is even more annoying. But you know, sometimes I just don't get it. I can't feel it. But that's quite rare.
So you like to be alone with yourself? Like,
I have to. Yeah.
Is it then you just? What are you doing then? Is it like in the hotel room, for example? Like if you
I've got my guitar. I practice sometimes, or I read, you know, or watch CNN, or just watch a movie. I just do what everybody does. Or I go online and I play chess.
You're not going to lose that chess. You know, we're going to play again.
Yeah, we'll play again.
We'll play again. All right, I think I got very well along with you. It was really nice talking to you.
Thanks.
Amazing. Thank you.